everyone. Welcome to this episode of Fanservice. Hi, how's everybody today? Harley said butthole demon as she disappeared. Like, don't say it 3 times. Welcome to Fanservice. This is our wrap for our summer season. We're going to take some weeks off and get ready for the fall season.
We have to get some, some lotion. We keep chafing.
Yeah, it's a lot doing 3 shows back to back to back every week and then getting Shadowcast ready for Saturday. So, I need a break. I need to update a few things. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. I like to take breaks, especially as we go to the holidays. I'm so excited. I'm so mad it's looking like we're not going to have a Halloween. I'm just telling you that right now.
Have you seen what people are suggesting for Halloween?
Yeah, have kids sit in the front yard and throw candy at them. There's just something wrong with drive-by candy throwing. Just doesn't quite seem right.
No, it sounds like the best idea ever. It's like, how many kids can you pelt in the face with candy?
Yeah, this is why it's not going to work, because we're going to turn into a fucked up game, y'all. We're going to have like a score pad. Someone in the backseat scored us, so we just are tossing bags, because I always make bags. Like, you get little Halloween toys and candy stuff in a bag. I'm tossing bags out with lollipops. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some pictures where people are saying, like, they're going to do a little, have the kids dress up as pirates, and they're going to, turn part of the front yard into a pirate ship, so the kids can have because they have to keep the kids outside, so they're going to give the kids something to do in costume.
I don't know. I'm still decorating my house. I'm going for a giant Oogie Boogie to go with my giant sandworm.
So I think I'm going to try to order the giant sandworm this year because I got the tree and the pumpkins for the front yard. They're giant inflatables. And I've got so much Halloween stuff for outside, it's not even funny.
Oogie Boogie's the inflatable for this year, too.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I bought him. I'm going to put them both on top of my house.
So was this real? I just want to make sure, because sometimes, you end up with that, Think Geek sort of stuff they used to do, where, the Wampa sleeping bag. Did I see, that, was it Home Depot is selling, a 20-foot tall skeleton with, a moving head or something like that?
He's only 10 feet.
It's,
the dragon
sells that. And they sell Sally.
Dogs.
And they're not opening physical stores this year.
Yeah, which really annoys the shit out of me.
Oh, you mean I don't get to go in and see the knockoff version of the not version of a Hollywood or anime thing?
We don't get to this year. We can look at them online.
Yeah. Well, I was going to order the new Sam Pop that they have, so I'm probably going to order that from them. And I would like to get some more Halloween inflatables for this year. Boy, Harley's internet just hates us again today.
We cannot literally blame a restream on this one.
This is because this is the second place this has happened. This is Harley's internet. It's like, fuck you!
Your live services. Probably somebody's streaming something right now in her house. I mean, there's 4 of them in that house right now.
I don't know. We'll figure out. So yeah, Halloween. It's looking like it's going to be questionable this year, and I'm not very happy. Well, anyways, welcome to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Gavin, and I'm joined by...
I'm Pocky.
And Harley pops in and out today because she's probably just frustrating at her phone. So she'll be coming and going. We have a lot to talk about today because we weren't here last week because I was just way too tired to move. So yeah, some stuff from last year, stuff from last week, and stuff from this week to play. I want to start with the first one. Sabrina's going to HBO Max. So, are you back with us now?
Not hearing her though.
Might be because I have my mic muted.
All right, so basically, apparently HBO, Hulu, and Netflix are they're playing past hot potato. They're oh, I don't like this property. Do you guys want it? And somebody goes, oh, thank you. I'll take this property, because we've seen that with multiple shows with multiples of these guys doing that.
But do we want to see Sabrina continue after the season? Because I think wrapping on a Cthulhu storyline is. I mean, I don't want to see the show go on forever.
I think. Well, didn't they say they had a supposed this was not there's supposed to be 1 or 2 more storylines? They were because they know that the guys who work on Netflix stuff know that they have a timeline. They have to get X number done. The fact that the only thing that seems to be the exception to that rule is their pride and joy, Stranger Things. Which even at this point, they're probably like, the kids are getting kind of old now.
Yep, they're getting a little old for this.
Well, I hate the fact that people want to see things go on. Like, I can understand like a sitcom like Friends or Seinfeld or one of those like feel good sitcoms, but we want to tell episodic stories. They need to have you need to have a plan in mind. Like, that's why I love Gravity Falls. It was 2 seasons. It was 1 summer. Boom, done. We're done. Avatar, 4 parts, done. Let's not drag out this dead horse forever today. God dang it, Harley.
I also like what shows that are episodic in a way, or not really story heavy, do it. Like Phineas and Ferb. Like, all the episodes matter. They actually like even mention them again. The fact that like the final summer, the final episode is them like as adults, like going off to college. The final summer.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of this. I'm excited someone's to pick it up, but I mean, I know I was kind of disappointed when they said they were going to cancel it because it is a really good show. But let's have a nice ending of it. Let's not.
That could be what this is. The kids could be like, "Hey, we had one more season of story to tell. Who wants to finish it?"
I love the look on Harley's face. She's like, "I don't like my internet. I don't like my camera."
Is somebody streaming a bunch of stuff in your house, like other than you?
Well, there's an evil woman in the other room playing WoW for 15, 16 hours a day.
So, I mean...
Holy shit! 16 hours a day? Like, she wakes up and she just like an IV of food and nutrients going into her body? Like, what?
I just walk by and like drop food on her desk. So I will have to send you the picture after this thing is over.
I have to see this. I have to see this.
Jill has hijacked my rice cooker and has hooked up my rice cooker on her ironing board.
So
my 10-cup rice cooker on the ironing board.
As long as she's not peeing in bottles, you're okay. My friend,
no, her bathroom is right there.
Bottles,
oh,
but
that's
he doesn't
fucking
throw
gross.
the bottles away. They're just. I walked into his WoW room. Was like, "What's with all the apple juice?" He's like, "That's not apple juice." So from every day, I called him Bottleby. So Sabrina, we want to see it come to an actual end. Tell me about this.
Yasha Hime.
Yeah, I when you said it, I thought it was
like Inuyasha Bolt Edition.
Yeah, I thought it was an Inuyasha thing, and I was like, but it looks like the font, it looks like the color, but what the fuck is this?
So Yasha Hime is the sequel to Inuyasha. It does not follow Inuyasha and Kagome's storyline. It follows Shishomaru, supposed mother Ren. The conspiracy theories on that are super real. But it follows Shishomaru's twin daughters and Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter, Moira, and it follows their storyline versus the adults more. And it's more focused on Shishomaru's kids than it is Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter.
So are you excited, I take it?
I am very excited. Like, I have started following the wild conspiracy theories.
Let's not go down too far.
I'm just like,
theories.
I watched the live streams that they're airing in Japan, which is why I said supposed mother is Ren. I'm all cool with Shishomaru and Ren hooking up because it's canon. But there's some questions I have with the coloring on the kids. But if you go through and watch the live streams, it's pretty much all leading up to Ren is the mom.
To me, it's just to me, because it is not the original creator, is her notes, it's some of her character designs. This feels like to me is, hey, Bolt's doing well. Let's do Bolt, but with Inuyasha. They're even named like how they named the kids in Bolt and Naruto sequel. They're hybrid names of the parents. Like, I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying this is Naruto. This is what sequel of Naruto is.
I'm just gonna have to finish this story and then duck out for the night. But no, it's not gonna be the same thing. because it's still focused on Naruto. This is more the story of the kids' independence and find each other. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it because it's the guy that made all the movies, and Rumiko Takahashi has a very big hand in the movies. Even though she didn't write the movies, she very much has been the resource. Like, this guy talks about the characters with her and everything. The same guy's making the music. They got most of the original Japanese cast back, except for the couple people that died over the years. But I mean, it's pretty much going to be everything normal with a new storyline.
Wow.
It's not the same. It's not, hey, let's go down the path of what happened to these people. It's, here's new characters, enjoy them. Like, this guy also made the video game, and the video game was plotted out very well.
I'm wondering if this will allow them to then let her do, if this is popular enough, I'm kind of wondering if this will allow them to do Mao.
So there is going to be a crossover. She already has announced, they did announce it in the live stream that they're going to do an Inuyasha Mao crossover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so with Mao getting that crossover, it'll give an opportunity to have them do a Mao anime.
So we should explain real fast because we are using kind of terms and throwing them around. So I know Gavin's kind of looking at us a little bit. Mao is her newest series. She did Inuyasha, then she did Ren. I think that's Ren, which is your stereotypical guy who is, and I'll just finish this one off. Basically, a guy who is a Shinto priest, Shinigami hunter, defeats demons, girl who can see demons. He protects her sort of storyline. It's very much her style of storytelling. And now she's finished that, and she's now doing
Poor Harley.
I know. I'm just not having this.
All right.
But she basically, Mao is her newest story.
If people are interested, I'll post up the character arc storylines and everything on our Facebook page.
All right. So before we lose Harley, I want to talk about two things: pumpkin spice soy milk.
Fucking disgusting.
So basically, it's cinnamon nutmeg flavored almond soy milk.
It does not need to exist.
I mean, I don't think soy milk needs to exist, but that's just my opinion.
I usually use almond
adding
milk,
pumpkin spice in there too. That's just even grosser.
So we're gonna try it. I'm just telling you now.
I will tap out of that one. I'm good, thanks.
I'm actually kind of tempted to get some of this and then like get some flavorless gelatin and kind of make a pudding out of it. Actually, kind of see how it turns out.
Meanwhile, Chef Pocky's like, I'm going to make some concoction. I'm like, we're just going to drown it with some rum and we'll be good to go.
I mean, Chef Pocky's all good with eating Cheeto-flavored mac and cheese.
Oh, yes!
Too.
It's coming.
I am not.
And them with this. Because they were so focused on if they could do it, they didn't stop to think if they should do it.
They should do it.
It's like Burger King's weird mac and cheese Cheeto thing.
I don't care. This is genius. Why did it take them so long for Cheetos mac and cheese?
It's fucking disgusting.
It is not. It's Cheetos.
It's disgusting. Like, me and Harley are going to side with this one. This is disgusting. I had, by the way, when Courtney told me this headline, I had to ask, are we talking about Cheetos that are flavored like mac and cheese? Or are we talking about mac and cheese flavored like Cheetos? And when she told me what it was, I nearly threw the car off the road.
There's no reason to not, because this isn't going to work. It's perfect. Cheetos are delicious. You already get the cheese on your fingers, and everyone eats the cheese off their fingers.
Dorian's even in the other room arguing.
Because he likes Cheetos. Every little kid likes Cheetos. Don't even try to front.
He likes Cheetos, but I don't know if he will eat Cheeto-flavored mac and cheese. There's even things, like he's making barfing noises. There's things that he won't even eat.
Look, I'm just saying, I can't put hot dogs in this and eat it with my hot dogs, no.
You can put hot dogs in any sort of macaroni and cheese, fool. It doesn't matter.
But
wait, how are you going to go to, I'm going to put hot dogs in my Cheetos, won't work, but you're going to make pumpkin spice pudding custard jello with soy milk.
But
Because
why?
we're talking about mac and cheese, Cheeto flavored mac and cheese. That like there is just gone. With pumpkin spice, it's just cinnamon and nutmeg. At the end of the day, I could just deal with that.
Y'all are crazy. Y'all are all crazy. All right, so we're gonna bow out Harley because she's having connection problems tonight.
Yeah.
If you see something you want to comment on, comment away.
I'm
'Cause
definitely.
we've got-
I will, for the people watching at home, I will post the images for Yashahime up on the Facebook page.
Yep. So, like I said, you'll see Harley again when we come back at the end of the month or beginning of next month for our fall season, which is gonna be lots
With
of
my
fun.
new laptop.
Yay! So hopefully we can hardwire it and won't have problems.
Yep,
She's
hopefully. We'll
I
see.
fucking hate you guys. Butthole Demon says what? Ah!
She's gonna come back on and say what?
She's like, wait.
Butthole demon.
She's like,
Butthole
wait,
demon.
what? I took her off and she's there.
Butthole demons.
What about porn theaters?
No.
Butthole demons that work in porn theaters.
Of course, now she's staying connected because we're talking about butthole demons and Cheetos and porn theaters.
Welcome
The butthole demon wanted me to say his name. He wanted us to tell everybody his place of business.
We need to give him a name before we start the new season.
Okay.
We need to create a little butthole demon mascot, and that just needs to,
Is he gonna live in the vial?
He could.
Okay. Now we're gonna have a contest for the audience. Name our butthole demon.
I wonder what we're gonna get.
Oh Jesus!
And knowing some
This
of our
will not end well. All right, we're gonna
Butthole
move on.
demon naming
You can
contest.
stay or you can go. It's up to you.
All right, guys. Night,
on the
guys.
Bye, Harley. All right, so then there were two. Okay, so you shared a story this week about the show called Werewolf is finally getting released, and I had no idea what it was, so I looked at it, and I remember watching some of those as a kid. Like it just all came. Like I think I remember this crazy show.
Okay, so for those who didn't know, Werewolf ran from 1986 to 1987. It was like one of Fox's. You have to imagine this. Fox Television just
Early
got
Fox.
like there's no Simpsons, there's no Tracy Ullman show.
No,
Just-
I think Tracy Ullman launched with Fox.
No, she did. I think she comes out about a year later after this.
But
Maybe-
there was that weird show.
There's like Herman's Head, and there's a couple other ones.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, but Fox had a show called Werewolf, and it was basically a supernatural version of The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Basically, a guy was bit by a werewolf and cursed. And
So of course he spends the whole series trying to find who bit him.
Yeah, he's trying to kill the man who bit him so he can become free of the curse. And it runs for basically like 2 seasons, and it ends on a giant cliffhanger. And like, there's only been illegal Chinese bad copies of this thing floating around since then. Like,
Isn't that the best? The Chinese will illegal bootleg anything. Like you go to one of those little like street corner vendors, you can find whatever you want.
but yeah,
Like-
this was
Fantastic Four.
this was one of those. Hold on, I need to say.
It wasn't the best of shows
It
because
wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like it wasn't. It was good. It was ran from 87 to 88.
and I wonder, was there really a clamor for it to be released? Like,
Well, there has been, because a lot of people. This was one of those cases of like, it actually had fairly good ratings. It only lasted 1 season, but its ratings were really good. It just got canceled because Fox was new, Fox was young, and this
Yeah.
show required a budget. Like, the episode always practically ends with him turning into the werewolf and defeating the bad guy.
well, you knew what you were going to get into. You're telling a werewolf show. You're going to have to show a werewolf.
Well, the thing is, like, my theory is that they probably promised these guys that the werewolf would only show up every other episode, and probably like for 2 minutes in the back. Don't worry, we'll do first-person photography and everything else. And
It's too bad they didn't like bootleg it like they did Velocipaster, where they just got like an inflatable dinosaur costume. They could have just done something cheaper. I mean, but I remember watching a couple episodes of the show, and I remember thinking, I don't care for it to be released. I don't think anybody really cares. It's going to be a very niche market, so it'll be like a Shout Factory thing.
It's a Shout Factory thing.
Yes, of course it's a Shout Factory thing. Just like I have the Garbage Pail Kids movie, because that movie's horrible, but it's a Shout Factory thing.
Yeah.
Yay for them for doing this, but it was probably going to sit on a bunch of people's shelves, and they're not going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. I definitely watch it. By the way, it had some like golden age TV actors in it. Like this was like going to be some of their. And I think one of their cases. This is like one of their final TV series they're in before they actually officially retire or pass away. And like it actually had a pretty interesting, a cast and crew. It's one of those cases of like if you look at who was in it, the main actor himself didn't really go on to much. He was like. Had a couple episodes of Zack of Cody and Wizards of Wimberley Place, but like kind of like everyone else attached to this project, kind of turned into something big. It's also a TriStar TV series, so yeah.
Well, it'll be.
Also, by the way, just to point out a thing, the guy who created this series is also the same guy who brought you Wise Guys and Magnum PI, and also.
I wish it luck. If you're really wanting it, go get it. You're going to be able to have it.
Oh, yeah. You're probably going to be able in this thing.
So the other thing that came out that I'm not understanding at all is Comedy Central's rebooting Ren and Stimpy.
We had this conversation. We always have this conversation. Why are they rebooting it? Because it's a name.
No. They tried it one time with Ren and Stimpy Adult Party, which did not work. I get they want to try something with it, but it's Ren and Stimpy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep what it was, then why are you bothered? Because that's what made it work. It was bizarre. It pushed the boundaries of Nicktoons. It
was actually originally. It wasn't even originally a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, and there's a lot of toxicity behind it. I understand that today, but it's still a really fun, messed up show to watch. I love Ren and Stimpy. I grew up with Ren and Stimpy. What are they going to do? I'm curious about this one. It's not like I want to rally against it, but I'm curious as to what possible thing are they going to do with this? Because it really was, it was a crazy time for this show. There's a documentary coming out called The Happy Joy Joy Story. Cannot wait to watch it. It's about the creation and the life of Ren and Stimpy on Nickelodeon and how chaotic it was. How are you going to duplicate that? And how are you going to tell Ren and Stimpy today in a PC culture? There is no possible way.
It's because if you do take a good bit of most of the humor of that series worked out of just being absurd. Like Happy Joy Joy, which is like its most famous skit, is just absurd. There's nothing you could do absurd without being politically incorrect.
But a lot of the things were not politically correct within the show. Kids these days would not understand log. It's just like that's something they would not even remotely care about. So obviously they have to be gearing a more adult market for this, like South Park is. So that makes me somewhat hopeful, but it really didn't work last time they tried to do it. The Ren and Stimpy Adult Cartoon Party just was awful.
Because they went too far. It was what made Ren and Stimpy work was it was absurdist kids humor that was just not adult enough.
It was adult enough though. But, that was the catch.
Yeah, that was the catch. But it was like it aired at the same time Rugrats did. Like Rugrats started at the same time.
Yeah, but Rugrats was definitely geared towards kids, whereas I think Ren and Stimpy was geared towards teenagers.
I will say this: if you watch some of the first season of Rugrats, there is some definite humor attached to it. But I want to say I think they've learned their lesson. I think I'm not going to go to that far of that pendulum. I think the fact that what's South Park on right now? What season is South Park on?
Like 301. 33, 34.
So, no, it's not that long.
23, 24?
No, is it?
Yes, they've been on a long time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so no, because I was trying to think of what blah blah blah. 23 seasons.
Yeah,
23 seasons. So yeah, because Simpsons is running on to what? It's close to its 30th.
Yes.
So I think what they're doing is they're kind of like worried that like this is getting toward. Stephen Trey Parker and them are saying they're getting toward the end of kind of what they're wanting to do with the series. So I'm just wondering if this is more like
It will not be another South Park.
we're bringing her here to Sippy.
So I'm going to hold out hope. Not a lot of hope after the last Fumar attempt again, but I just, yeah, it's like I watched the Muppets Now, and I love Muppets, and it made me think of the Muppet Show, but it's geared very much towards a YouTube market, and I get it. But what makes the Muppets Now work is it's a completely improvised. There's no real script. They have a setup, and they're just allowed to do what they do, and that's what makes it work. Is they have some genius people on the Muppet staff. I don't want them to take Ren and Stimpy and try to turn it into a modern thing, for lack of a better term. I want them to just keep the spirit of it and have fun and tell more stupid stories, because two things made me laugh stupidly hard as a kid. It was a Pepe Le Pew cartoon, and he was chasing the cat. The cat goes, "Leek!" And I thought that was the funniest shit I'd ever heard. I laughed so hard as a kid that I woke the house up. Second one was the Ren and Stimpy episode where it was Rapunzel. And Ren's climbing up the hair, and it turns out it came out of Stimpy's nose, and Stimpy snorts him up in the nose, and I lost it. I just lost it. It was absurd humor, yes.
But it didn't like if you think about some of the best jokes of that series, the fireman episode where they're just
Fire
really,
Dog.
the fire dog episode, the walking, the taking over the babies, where they pretend to be
Madness.
yeah. And
But see, then here's my other fear. If they do it right, will they not know what they're doing like Nickelodeon didn't know what they were doing with Invader Zim? I don't want it to be done right, and then they just, okay, we're just done. Because then that's just a tease. Like, Invader Zim was going to go this whole fun direction with Scooge joining, and they had Tack, and Nickelodeon just did not know what to do after they signed up Invader Zim. So, hopefully Comedy Central knows what they're going to get into, and they're going to dedicate some time to it.
Also, you've got to look at it this way. The people who grew up watching the original Ren and Stimpy, who may not have liked the Ren and Stimpy adult show, they're now old enough to be the executives of adult Comedy Central.
Well,
so they're probably banking on something, because right now they're banking on not just your nostalgia, but their nostalgia is your nostalgia now.
Well, so we're going to follow up with this one at premieres, but did you see this weird tweet that came out that, God, I wish Harley were here for this one, from a Florida politician? And here's the tweet. Are you ready? They're now introducing a great deal of anime porn to the internet matrix. Dragon Ball Z is one of the top issues here. They're sexualizing cartoon characters to push the prey to gender on our kids. What's next? Where will it end?
Have you not seen Bratz?
Have you not seen a lot of the things that have hit the shelves, including Bratz, including Barbie, including,
Trolls?
Most of the superhero toys? Trolls aren't sexualized.
The newer ones, not the old ones we knew, but when they introduced the new...
It's not, yeah, I have a bunch of, they're not sexualized. They're kind of like Smurfs. I wonder if we should send them a bunch of hentai links, is what my question is.
The 7 Dragon Balls.
I hate when people make the news for talking about their sheer ignorance and stupidity.
Mm-hmm. Basically,
this is one of those ones.
We get the Christian group talking about.
Of course, it came from Florida, which is like
Florida, we should point
the
out.
armpit of the country where everything weird goes to die.
Dong, sir. It is the dong of America. It is even shaped like a penis.
Yeah, it's
like a fat man trying to bend over and pee, and he leans over the toilet, and it's like, that's what
I can't with these people. Like, there's nothing sexual about Dragon Ball Z, just like there's nothing sexual about MMO and boxing and fighting. And this dude's trying to put like, well, because I guess they draw nipples, they're pornographic. Like, have you watched the series, you stupid ass? Like, oh my god.
So the answer to that question is, someone did a Google search and turn save filters off.
Can you imagine being his staffer when he goes, "Find me some sexual cartoon pictures," and they're like, "I get paid nothing to do this, like for real." I guess it might time off.
So the part that gets me is you chose Dragon Ball to go on about pornography and sexualization. Yet you have Sailor Moon, which every girl is wearing a miniskirt, and at one point gets naked through magic. I mean, saying you don't see anything.
Yeah, he could have picked a better example.
Misty from Pokemon wears short shorts and a thing. And trust me, there are plenty of women on the net who dress up as Misty without the top on in the
thing is he's also attacking a product from a different culture that has different views.
Correct.
And that is also very stupid of him. Like, he just sounds really ignorant. And of course, it's Florida. What can we say?
So when I first read this news story, I thought it was from Thailand. To be fair, and the reasoning is because it's is it Thailand where you can't show the bottom of your feet?
Oh, there's lots of places.
No, there's one particularly where it's uncouth to show the bottom of your feet.
Okay.
And
what kind of fucked up person in charge decided, I don't want to see the bottom of your feet? That's too provocative.
Because if you look at the bottom of the feet, because it's like, how would you get to the bottom of the feet? I don't know.
Are they squatting on a glass table and crapping on it? Because that's why you won't see a glass table in my house. You know my theory about glass tables, right? Never trust anybody who has a glass coffee table. Because the only purpose of a glass coffee table is for you to lay underneath it while people crap on top of it and you jack off. Never trust anybody with a glass coffee table.
I lose the internet connection, sir. I don't know what's going on.
You do not.
Oh God, no!
You do not have a glass coffee table, do you?
I don't have a coffee table.
So every time you go into someone's house and you see a glass coffee table, you're gonna be like, "Huh?" Because
no, it's not for shitting on. It's so when person has sex on top of it, you could be underneath it and watch penetration, sir. There's a difference.
You can watch penetration from anywhere.
But
yes, you can. But if you want to watch someone crap, you got to be quiet underneath them. You don't want to get it on you. If you want to get it on you, they'll do it on you. But it's for people who want to watch people crap while they jack off. That's what glass coffee tables are for.
I make the joke that we every episode go porn. I did not think this episode we'd go German porn. We're talking about shit porn, sir. We've gone to the last episode. We've gone to the fucking bottom.
I don't even know how this came up. I already forgot how we started talking about glass coffee tables.
Because I was talking about how they could have chosen a better anime. There was like a dozen animes that are not even porn related.
Yeah, no. So yeah, there's some definite questions out there. Okay, we're gonna move on now. Tell me about the Hellboy RPG.
It's happening. Apparently, it's going to be D&D.
Do people actually care? Because I know they just released the Hellboy game. There'll be lots of movies, but the last Hellboy movie, everybody hated it. Hellboy seems to be one of those properties that just won't go away, and I think that's a good thing because I think it's a good property.
Yes.
But I'm worried if they're doing too much now because they did the board game that was really good. They're doing an RPG game, but would it have already been done as like a Savage Worlds module or something else? Like, what's different?
So here's the thing about it. I'll look up something real fast. So when they announced the board game got released, by the way,
last year.
Last year. So when it got announced as an RPG, I belong to a lot of RPG boards, and a lot of people assumed Fate or Savage Worlds was getting it. Including a very, 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 very small group thought it was going to be fucking World of Darkness. But that was just the really diehard Darkness, World of Darkness crew of people. Those people are creepy and weird anyway. Come at me, bro.
Because they have glass coffee tables.
Exactly, they have glass coffee tables. We should trust them. But it turned out to be D&D, and so a lot of people, I feel this is. I do a panel on how to roleplay your fandom, and I feel this is almost all like, I like D&D, and I'm going to shove everything I can into it and ignore the concept of what the setting's about. I don't know. I mean, it's it's probably going to work because it's an official. It's officially made by Dark Horse and it's officially made with Wizards of the Coast. So it's good chance it's going to work. I'm just genuinely surprised it's D&D and not anyone else who probably would have given them better royalties over it.
Like, I wonder why they went with D&D as opposed to one of the other ones.
Because it is D&D. If you say role playing, people say, "Do you mean D&D?" Because that's what they. D&D is the McDonald's of role playing. If I say McDonald's, you know what it is.
Yeah, if you say D&D, you know what it is. But they're not. I mean, if you're making a game like this, you're not worried about the system recognition. I think you need to be worried about what's the best way to do it.
I agree with this, but it's Warner Brothers owns it. Warner Brothers owns it.
You answered my whole question. It's all within the company,
right? They don't have to go to Pinnacle. They don't have to go to World of Darkness. They don't have to go to any of those guys. It's owned by Hasbro.
So, keeping up with talk of D&D, there's that article that we shared this week about they want to drop the term race. Maybe.
Okay, so
I'm thinking, are we just to the point where we're making a fuss over everything? Because race is technically species. I get it. You can say species, but you can also just say race. It's not being used in a bad way.
Okay, so this article is written totally by a sad puppy. This was somebody who has got an agenda and something was written that they didn't like, and they took it all out of proportion, and they twisted it in such a way that even Gumby would cry.
Gumby likes to cry, though.
He does.
And this is what I bring up. We share all those kinds of things that we can find online because we've talked about stories that are.
And you and I and Courtney will do background searches just to find out if it's real or not. So what this really is what they're doing is they're eliminating the. So they're going to let you still have it, but there's going to be an option of being a dwarf. Pick a species, but you don't have to pick the template of that species. Yeah. So, as an example, if you pick an orc, a half orc, you get a bonus to the Constitution right off the bat because you're an orc, you're healthier.
So they're allowing it to be more of a hybrid system now.
Well, it's more like the idea of I am an orc and I took a lot of points into agility because in my species of orcs, we all grew up in forests. So we're forest orcs. And so we've got this thing going. It allows more customization. It also allows kind of like what Hellboy and a couple other things they're trying to go for, because they're talking about this with future expansions and add-ons. Like one of the big add-ons they just did is called The Odyssey of Something or Other. And you can play.
That's a great title. The Odyssey of Something or Other.
What?
Odysseys of Pharaohs.
Odysseys of Pharaohs. And you can play.
I love how she's over there just correcting you the whole time.
Yes. And I love her for it. And because there are so many D&D expansions, it's hard to remember all of them. But this one you can play as a satyr, you can play as a minotaur, you can play as actually almost all the monster species are up for grabs. And this is basically them going to the next level, which is what if we just took that idea of you could play a thing with a mold attached to it, which is just its look. And then you can build from there. An orc, maybe a skinny dwarf, maybe a beefed out elf, maybe a human species that grew up, was raised in the desert, so they have an incredible amount of heat resistance attached to them because they're all they're all from incredibly dry areas. So the article was written in a way that was ignoring what D&D is trying to do. And basically make it about how they want to get rid of the term race. What they're really trying to do is get rid of the idea of
being locked into specifics.
Molding. Yes,
yeah,
race and molding, and that's all. That's why they're calling it a species versus a race. It's the idea of you're a group of elves, you're a group of dwarves, you're a group of dragon kin.
And this is why I want to talk about it because I don't want people to fall for this kind of stuff.
Right.
So you come to us and we have lots of fun talking about it. All right. So moving on from D&D, how did I not know this was coming?
It's like Thunderdome.
How did I not know there's a Beyond Good and Evil series on the works?
So
that is one of my favorite video games ever.
Okay. So Ubisoft, while trying to ignore all their sexual allegations and rape and drugging of their
All of the
employees.
toxicity behind Ubisoft are like,
Yes.
oh, look, Beyond Good and Evil fans, we're actually doing something with it. We promised you a second game. We teased it with the main characters 800 years ago. Then we teased it with new characters 500 years ago.
With the clothes, and it's going to be an open world game, and
Yeah.
so they're basically, the story is the guy who was the director of Detective Pikachu and a couple of other really good movies that we've all really enjoyed
Is going to be giving us
giving us a Beyond Good and Evil TV series that's supposed to follow the first game and its story.
Which makes me super excited because I want to see that story and world expanded upon.
I do too. I don't know if we're going to ever get the sequel now because of
I'm not so much worried about that one.
Of Ubisoft. Well, a lot of their executive and their creators just got they were allowed to peacefully resign with a gigantic gigantic bonus.
Yeah, but I mean that's become vaporware. It's going to be like Aliens: Colonial Marines now. It could come out. It could be the best thing ever, and I will hate it because it's been too long. Duke Nukem Forever, one of those examples.
It was garbage because Duke Nukem was a literal. Like, I agree with one reviewer. You could see the trend in first-person shooters
Yes.
by looking at that game, because you could see when it was through development.
Yeah.
The fact that they're promising a Beyond Good and Evil game that's supposed to be open world with full customizable characters and blah 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 blah.
Not going to happen.
I already have a dozen of those games that are all made by Ubisoft. Which I
wait till you hear about the fun we're talking about on Super Game Bros tomorrow night.
I know.
We have a lot to talk about tomorrow night in Video Game Bros. But yeah, so I'm really excited. This is one of the ones that I will definitely walk into with expectations, because you guys know I don't like to walk into things with expectations. I walk in with a blank slate. I very rarely walk into anything with an expectation. But I will have huge expectations for this series, especially if it's based off the first game. It's got to have that funky soundtrack. It's got to have those colors and that setting, and it's going to be expensive.
I think with this one, it's if they do it right, I think it will be very good. But the problem is, I'm worried that because it's Netflix and because it's a video game company that's not used to a Hollywood style system, except for all the toxicity attached to that part.
No, Ubisoft sold off. Wait, they do Assassin's Creed, right?
Assassin's Creed movie.
Yeah, they signed off the Assassin's. They know the Hollywood system, so let's not.
They know the Hollywood system of how to fuck things up. They're not used to the Netflix system of Hollywood doing things, and I'm wondering if that's going to be different. And so, if this guy who did Detective Pikachu and a bunch of our other favorite movies of the last couple of years gets the chance to do it without being interrupted, this will be awesome. Yeah. If everyone interferes with it and he's just there because it's a name, I don't think it's going to turn out very well.
All right, so last story I want to talk about tonight is this whole Mulan going to Disney Plus thing.
Yes.
They announced it yesterday it would be $30, but you have to be Disney Plus to rent it. And I was like, okay, that's 2 movie tickets. That's basically 2 movie tickets. I can kind of understand. I don't know why they didn't follow the Universal model. But then today they said, oh yeah, you're actually buying it for $30, but only as long as you subscribe to Disney Plus.
So, this is called the death of ownership.
This is the beginning of the death of ownership. I get that. I don't know why they're deciding to go this route, as I was saying, just buy it digitally on like Amazon or whatever, and you just own it. Because they will. I'm not really looking forward to it. I mean, I want to watch it, but I'm not going to like pay $30 to watch it, because the internet started trolling Disney. Oh. You want us to pay $30 for a movie without Mushu? No.
So here's a couple minor problems with this. One, it's going to be $30, and then you have to spend how much a month to keep that thing going?
It's $6, $5 or $6 a month.
So within 5 months, you pay for the movie again for the right to see the movie again. And
yeah, I think you own it as long as you're a subscriber. I mean, it works somewhat for the video game systems because, you know, you're paying for that anyway. So you get the free games as long as you're...
But they're free. That's the
As
difference.
long as you are subscribed to the live services, PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold. As long as you're subscribed, you have access to those games. As soon as you're not, you don't.
And
I get it,
not
but
just
they're free.
right, they're free. I didn't spend, as an example, I didn't spend $20 this week to play Fall Guys.
I'm wondering if the other reason is because, this is way more marketable than Artemis Fowl and Ivan the Mighty, whatever that they just released. Way more marketable because it's Mulan.
No, it's not more marketable, it's more safe.
No, it's way more like Artemis Fowl. They jacked up. There was no way that movie was going to do well in theaters. So let's push it to our subscribers, give it as a perk and a bus. Yay! This talking animal movie, Ivan the Great or whatever it is, would not have done well in movie theaters. So let's just push it out. Mulan would have done well in movie theaters. Let's not even try to debate that fact.
No. What I'm saying is, if the Artemis Fowl would have followed the books,
it would have been fine.
Yeah, it would have been fine. But that's the difference. They still edited the future of the past.
But what they should have done is say, buy it digitally. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you get it for like $20. If not, you're one buy it on Amazon, buy it for $30. I like their model of paying a higher price for it as opposed to $20 for a 24-hour rental, which is what Universal did. Which is why it took me so long to watch Trolls World Tour, because it's like I could just buy it for like $15. So why am I going to pay $20 and wait? It's definitely a differently weird move, especially since Universal and AMC came to the agreement that there'll be a 3-week window now instead of the 3-month window before it goes to digital. That's definitely going to change up Hollywood if it ever decides to reopen up, because everything's still shut down.
February.
And I thought it was weird because all the summer movie merchandise is still hitting store shelves. I've seen what Cheetah looks like in Wonder Woman movie. Pretty good job. No movie.
Speaking of that, did you see where she said the writer of the Wonder Woman movie said the third Wonder Woman movie will be her last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they announced a black female director for Captain Marvel 2.
Nice.
But I'm just, we've seen all the spoilers now for all the big summer movies that we don't get to see.
I think what the bigger question becomes this, and this is the thing that I'm really, really sure is going to piss everybody off, which is, okay, I spent $30 to buy a movie, and it's on a digital service. What happens in, like, let's say, like a year or two? Now you can watch Mulan as a Disney Plus membership.
Yeah. It won't be a year or two. Like, they're gonna try to make as much money as they can off of it because it's Disney. But they will eventually release it just to free.
It's going to be a year. It's the reason it's going to be a year is because they can do the whole. Because in 1 year time they're going to have another thing that they need to promote, and they're going to use Mulan to promote it.
I don't think that's what it is. I think because people are only going to really be buying it for the first 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's.
And then after that, 6 months later, they can release it for free. They're not going to be making any more money off of it. Just put it up for all the subscribers. Because they have so many damn subscribers, it's not even funny.
So the question becomes is, how would the consumer feel then? Because if you do that with Mulan, that's the last thing you'll ever get to do with it. Like, no one's ever going to buy, again, $30 movie if you have a subscription to it. That's never going to happen again if you do it with Mulan. Because everyone's going to be like, well, why?
Okay, they have 60.5 million subscribers.
Right.
So hold on, let me pull up the calculator here. Because I can't do math. So let's say best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Half the people buy it.
Okay.
That's still $60 million they'll bring in just for selling if half the people buy it.
Yeah.
And that's not money they have to give to theaters. That's not money they have to give away to anything else. That's straight up going straight to them.
Yep.
It's not too terribly bad.
It is. No, it's not totally bad at all. But what I'm saying is, okay, if I have to spend $30 then with a product that I have to keep spending $60 a month, $6 a month, sorry, not 60, $6 a month to keep watching, and then out of nowhere they say, by the way, you can now watch it for free. I'm going to go I just spent $30 on this.
No, you're not. Because people are not going to care at that point in time. They've already seen it a million times. Their kids have watched it a million times. They don't care now.
But
they got to see it when it was relevant and when it was new. They're okay with it.
I don't. There's going to be a part of the population that'll be okay with it because they're going to be moving on to Captain Marvel 2 and Iron Man 5.5 and whatever it is. But there is generally going to be some people who will be like, "What the fuck? Why spend $30 within 6 months? I can just watch the movie."
It's for people who are impatient. I can be impatient for things. Like, if they were going to release the new Fast and Furious movie, I would have bought it the day it came out. I would have rented it 500 times if I had to. I would have bought it because I really want to see that. There are people who really want to see Mulan. They're excited for it. Not based off the internet reaction to this announcement, but there are people out there who will actually do it. Just like Trolls. Rent it for the kids, cheaper than going to the movie theater. But you didn't own it. That was the biggest difference. Disney's like, well, you'll own it for $30. Remember back when that used to be the full price of a DVD or a Blu-ray?
It still is, but the difference is, though, at the end of the day, I still have the thing in my physical hand.
Yeah, the physical stuff isn't going to go away, but for me, it's so much easier for digital. We've talked about this before. I have the ones where you'll get the physical and the digital, and my physical just sits on a shelf collecting dust. But I have it in case I ever need it.
Right, you have it in case a service ever says this is a product that's not worth carrying anymore.
Which I always wonder how that works, because like Fist of Jesus was on Amazon Prime for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it's gone. The He-Man 2000s reboot cartoon. It's not digital anywhere. You can only buy it on DVD. It's not licensed anywhere. Some of these weird things that I just don't understand the decisions behind. Like, I don't understand HBO Plus is losing all the Harry Potter movies because they're going to the NBC Peacock streaming services. Like, Warner owns those movies. How are they losing the rights to them for 6 months to go over to this NBC Universal Peacock streaming service?
Because that one I can explain, and that's just stupid. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the families. So HBO is how they're treating HBO is they're trying to treat HBO as the thing the cool kids go to. They're trying to treat the Peacock as the thing your parents go to.
It's two completely different companies, though. That's what's confusing me. NBC Universal does not own Harry Potter, but they're getting it for 6 months. They have some sort of licensing agreement. I wonder if it's tied to the fact that they have theme parks or whatever, but Warner Brothers owns HBO. They own Harry Potter. Why are they losing it off their own damn service?
Because it's part of it it's part of the marketing, and they're trying.
And who cares? Like, who does not own the Harry Potter movies? If you're a Harry Potter fan, you own those movies, y'all.
You own the
movies. It's not that big of a deal.
You own the movies, you own the books, and you own at least 5 pieces of merchandise.
Exactly. You have your house and everything. We've talked about this before, so I find it weird that everyone's like, oh no, Harry Potter fans are losing this. No, they're not. They can pull out their Blu-rays and watch them. I own a Blu-ray and digital and 4K. I think they're all 4K.
My sister-in-law has the ABC Family Christmas airing of Harry Potter movies on her
TiVo,
but she wants to watch it because apparently that's how they own it.
Oh, speaking of,
by the way, it's just the first 3. There's
bad decisions that they make. I decided to just put on some cartoon movies on Disney Plus yesterday, and I watched Lilo and Stitch. And I forgot that they edited it, and I was really pissed. They edited the dryer scene.
They also edited the entire chase scene.
I knew that. That happened before it came out. But because someone complained that it's dangerous for kids to play in washers and dryers, they edited out the whole scene where she gets Lilo out of the dryer and wraps up the blanket after Cobra Bubbles comes. She's behind a pizza box now. It is the most awkward edit I've ever seen.
You know my favorite edits though is when they get cursing. When it used to be cursing and they have to put it on television, so they have to edit out the cursing. Yeah, the favorite.
It never matches.
You monkey fighter. You monkey fighter.
It killed me because there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with the scene.
You know, Aladdin almost got very heavily edited.
I used to have the soundtrack that had the original song on it. Where they cut off your ears if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. That's how I learned the song.
No. So there was a group of parents that were upset because some kids with carpets were jumping out of windows.
Yes, let's stop being parents. Let's blame media. Let's not
So-
take responsibility for our children and raising them properly.
They were wanting Disney to edit out the carpet lava scene in Aladdin. Can you imagine that movie without that scene? And those people have kids.
I can't. It seems like every show we end with, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with these people who are like, you need to edit that out because it's
My
not
kid-
funny that a child climbs into a dryer to hide because that's happened to a child in the 80s.
Do you know that they could put kids in refrigerators, or there was a whole refrigerator controversy. Like there were episodes, I don't remember if you remember these, that they don't hide in a refrigerator because you'll get locked in because of door locking. Do you know from the 1980s when all that stuff was going on, the last refrigerator that was built with a lock attached to it that was not openable from the inside or
Yeah.
was not easily triggered, was built in the 50s. 30 years.
It's just, I understand that not everyone thinks everything is the same way.
Mhm.
But just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I should be forcing my views on you. Just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean you should force your views on me. There's a way to have conversations to be like, okay, well, this, if it's really important, but editing Lilo hiding in a dryer because Nani's so gonna like just turn it on. She's not fucking stupid. Telling Disney you need to edit out a carpet scene because my kid jumped off the roof of the carpet. That's not Disney's fucking fault. That's your fault for not telling your goddamn children what the difference between reality. And we were kids. We did stupid things. We jumped off fences. We jumped off trees. We jumped off roofs. We drank out of hoses. We had metal bikes. We went down metal slides. Like, we were raised properly to know that we're doing this on our own. We weren't dumb enough to try to transform ourselves into a car. Or, I mean,
Speak for yourself. Yeah.
we played pretend. We knew the difference between reality and fiction. And these parents today are just so stupid in the way they raise their kids because you got to coddle them. Like, you were perfectly fine not being coddled. You're perfectly fine running wild. Okay, I'm off on a tangent. Anyways.
So, but what should we say is Disney, the whole idea that this seemed like a good idea, and yet, yeah, in 6 or 7 months, it's going to go away. It's going to be a thing. And yeah, nobody's really going to care, except they will care when it becomes a movie they care about. And if they do it too many times, Black Widow is an example. If they do this with Black Widow, if they do this with the next Captain Marvel movie, if they do this with the next major Marvel movie, if they do this with the next animated movie, big animated movie they have, Pixar, yeah, you're going to watch people get pissed off real bad.
So it'll be interesting to see if this test fails or if it succeeds. Because there's a huge difference in buying to own or renting. But there's also a difference between buying to own with conditions.
I mean, I have no problem when I accidentally let my PlayStation Plus subscription pass and I lose a bunch of games. As long as within 9 months I can repay for that subscription, I'm fine.
Even if it's 9 months on Xbox, it's in your account until you get back online. You don't ever lose access to them.
Well, it's 9 months. You retain all the titles. But if you lose them, if you don't renew in 9 months after it's passed, so basically you have another nearly another year to pay for your subscription yearly. And all you do is pay for it for a month. As long as you're doing it a monthly, you're fine. I just do it once a year. I spend part of my tax return on my getting a yearly subscription.
Well, we're going to talk about that tomorrow on Super Gamer Bros, so you guys want to pay attention to that.
Oh yeah, because Nintendo.
We're not even ruining it. Not to pay attention. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Fanservice. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this season as we transition to doing things from home. Love doing things from home. Love kind of being uncensored and unregulated.
I can't wait to see what it's like for us to go back in the studio at like 10 o'clock at night.
I don't think we are.
I'm saying if we ever do this again, if we ever go back to the studio, we have to do this show after prime time.
It'll have to be after prime time or when we get our own studio space. So, yeah, we will be back with our fall season where we're going to maybe change a couple times and add a few things here and there. But that's been it for this episode. We hope you guys have enjoyed the season with us. Help us name our butthole demon. We need to create a little butthole demon mascot.
And the butthole mascot, and we'll probably put you in the credits as the namer.
And you'll have to find him in each episode coming as we go forward. We're going to find a way to hide him somewhere. Don't really know where because there's not a lot of places to hide him. But maybe he'll pop out somewhere and be like, "Hey, it's me, the butthole demon." I don't know
how I feel about the phrase "butthole demon" popping out, sir. It just popped out, sir.
All right, so that's it. We're done. Don't forget, tomorrow night, last episode of Super Gamer Bros for the season, and next Tuesday is the last episode of Red Web for the season. We're taking a few weeks off. We'll be back late August, early September. You can pay attention to our Facebook page to find out when we have our schedules up. It's been lots of fun, so thank you, Pocky.
Bye.
Remember, don't trust people with glass coffee tables.
What if it's a butthole demon with a glass coffee table? Does that mean it stares at you while it gives a shit?